Yo, Knicks fans, 135 to 125. Another game, another wake-up call. We just gave up 31 assists to the Bulls, and we still are out here jacking up 45 threes. Like, at what point do we stop calling it modern basketball and we start calling it bad basketball? Brunson gave us 29, fought the whole night. Cat gave us 22 and 10. McCown OG showed up, but it doesn't matter when the system got no balance, no flow, no adjustments. Mike Brown keep preaching pace and space, but it's starting to look like more like pray and stray. And I'm going to say this. Josh Hart might be the heart of the team, but right now his lack of spacing is clogging up the rhythm. I'm T-Tom, here with Knickerbocker. Shout out to the rest of the Knicks and Ish panel. Tonight we're talking about identity, accountability, the cause for the loss. This one is on everybody. Smash the like button, drop your take in the chat, and let's get into it. Let's go, Knicks. Fras is not here, so Knickerbocker, you got to do it. You got to do it, bro.
Do I have to?
Yes. Yes.
Mic check 1, 2. Tell these rappers I'm outside, get them start acting up. Turning hoes to housewives and cleaning the ratchet up. Do it off from boom back the melody rap. Think I'll put you in the box, then you might as well pack it up. Fras having bars, no cap, I'm Attica, you a precinct. How y'all competing when y'all just decent? Your rhyme efficiency's like logic simplicity. Don't tell me how much that you black, cause I don't see it. That's it. Welcome to Precinct.
Fuck the ball. Fuck everybody on the floor. When we see you in the finals, bring that same energy, nigga.
Wow.
I'm gonna act like Fras. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Live and direct on your YouTube screen is your favorite Knicks and Ish panel. Yeah, I mean, including, not excluding. You feel me? The infamous Knickerbocker Ave. Yeah, I mean, and your host T-Tom. I'm a Spark Plug. Shout out to the rest of the Knicks and Ish panel, Mrs. Knicks, Fras, and Kev. Yeah, I mean, they couldn't be here tonight, but maybe one might pop up. Kev sometimes shows up. Yeah, I mean, maybe they might show up, maybe they not. But we here, we gonna talk about it. Knicks lose to the Bulls 135 to 125 in my words, in kind of disgusting fashion. It was kind of disgusting. If you watch that first half, it was nasty work. Nastiest of works. Again, we struggling from the same thing that caused us last 3 road losses. Yes, we are 0-3 on the road, people. That is disgusting work. The Knicks. Oh, actually, that's not a bad percentage. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize we made 18 out of 45. I just saw we tried 45, but we made 18. That's 40%. I'm not really mad at that. But what I'm really mad at is the defensive effort tonight. The defensive effort tonight was atrocious, especially in that first half. Giving up to 135, that is a problem, right? That is a problem, especially when you have championship aspirations. If Josh Giddey is giving you 30 points, we're going to have a problem. Houston, we're going to have a problem. Oh, he almost had a triple dub? Ew. Well, that's what he kind of does to the Knicks. Or what he's been doing to the Knicks, you know, for the longest of times. I think he got they said he had 12 triple doubles in his career, 3 of them coming against the Knicks. You know what I mean? Before I get into my reasons of why I feel Josh Giddey had such an amazing night against the Knicks, Knickerbocker Ave, tell me your feelings on the game.
I think, all right, how can I put this delicately? I'm getting those vibes of the pre-Thibodeau Knicks. Games that we were supposed to, you're supposed to go in there and be not only competitive, but you should be beating these guys.
For sure.
And you look at their roster, all due respect to the Chicago Bulls. They're a professional basketball team. Josh Giddey is not no scrub. They got some guys on that team. But when you measure them up to the number of talented players we have on this team versus the quality of the players that we have on this team, not to mention the name recognition, we should be smoking.
Smoking.
And right now, the way I look at it is that the Knicks should be sitting at 4-1, 5-0, and they're not. And I know that most people will go on social media and tell you the same old thing. It's only 5 games. You panic and you complaining. It's not about the 5 games. Look at how they're losing them. Look at the quality of basketball. Look at that quality of basketball, and you tell me that's good basketball. You tell me that is an NBA championship contending team. Given it is the beginning of the season. Given it's a brand new coach. Given it's a whole new system. And I'm going to quote my buddy Dom on this one. It's like 7 or 8 other teams have the same championship aspirations, probably.
Mm-hmm.
But we ain't talking about them. We don't give a fuck about what's going on in Oklahoma City here in New York City. We don't care what's going on in Houston. We don't care what's going on in Dallas. We certainly don't give a fuck about what's going on in Boston, Los Angeles. And we can start naming the cities all you want. This is New York. It's been 52 long years since this city has called a basketball champion. Because as much as I love the Liberty, we're not counting that one. I'm sorry. That's not the championship we want. I'm sorry. We all know which one we wanted. But the reality is that this is not good to start the season. And should this continue, because it looks like it will, heads are going to roll.
I believe so. And in part reason because of this, right? We briefly just spoke about Josh Giddey having a triple dub, right? Almost having a triple dub. Part of the reason for that is, why was the coaching philosophy or the defensive strategy to have Jalen Brunson covering Josh Giddey? Why would you want to have on paper 6'2", which we all know that's a lie, right? On paper 6'2", covering 6'7", 6'8" Josh Giddey. Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? Why is that a thing? And then you take it even a little bit further. When the subs come in, you got, again, 6'2". Mike was good. Yeah. But, then you got 6'2" Deuce McBride covering Josh Giddey. Like, how, in my mind, right? Because like you said, Knickerbocker Ave, he's no scrub. He's not a bum. You got a 6'7" guy who can pass, can shoot just a little bit, get to the cup, finish with some of the best. Pause. You know what I mean? And get, like I said, dish the rock. But yet you have one of your weakest defenders on the team in Jalen Brunson checking him. That was his primary assignment to start this game. Josh Giddey is not the guy that you hire Jalen Brunson on. That just doesn't make sense to me. To me, that's bad coaching philosophy. And you stuck with that throughout the whole first half. Jalen Brunson was getting absolutely cooked by Josh Giddey. But you're like, yeah, it's going to start working at some point. JB going to lock in defensively. What? And then you got Cat not closing out on I always get these guys confused. Vucevic, that's the one that was playing tonight. Yeah, I always get them confused.
Yeah.
Refusing to close out on him, he's having a field day from 3-point range, but nobody's relaying the message. Hey, close out on that guy. You know what I mean? Like, as much as this is on the players, I also feel like the players weren't put in the best position, especially in that first half, to succeed tonight.
I don't see the logic behind putting, like you said, 6'1.5" Jalen Brunson, who's not a bad defender. He's just unable to defend guys who are 6'7" and above. I mean, that's just not even watchable. Especially given the fact that that it's been proven time and time again by defensive specialist and former Knicks head coach Tom Thibodeau that you can't rely on Jalen Brunson to defend certain guys in certain positions. So why wasn't that been addressed? Why didn't you switch that out and see if Trey Jones was going to cook you instead of Josh Giddey? And you put Mikal Bridges on Josh Giddey. Why didn't you think about, maybe running a zone or running a switch so that way you don't have 6'1.5" Jalen Brunson or 6 foot Miles McBride guarding Josh Giddey? Because that happened too. I don't know.
Knickerbocker, guess what? They did try it in the second half when we started to come back.
You don't say!
We started to come back.
And remind me again, what was the Bulls' largest lead? They were up by 22, and then they cut down to 2, right?
Yeah, it was 22 before half. 1.5 down 19. We end up cutting it to 2. But if this coaching philosophy was used defensively in the beginning, who's to say that this game doesn't end out in our favor? And it's nasty, man. It's just nasty. Again, Cat was cooking in the first half, the first quarter, second quarter, for whatever reason, we go away from him. And this, like, what are we doing here? Cat had what I believe 8 points in the first quarter. He finished the first half with 9, I believe.
Something like that.
Why was he so effective in the first quarter and we don't give him no looks in the second quarter? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? But I will say this, right? Because let's bring it to the actual topic, because I'm talking a lot about coaching and we have that as an actual topic tonight, right?
Right.
Where the rest of my... Oh, there we go. Where we did the talking points. No. So let's start with the 3-point obsession. Even though tonight we were, how many of 30? I forget. How many of 45? 18, 17 to 45?
18 to 45.
18 to 45, which is 40%. Really good. OG shot well tonight from 3-point range. Mikal shot well from 3-point range. And that was pretty much it. Everybody else was like either like okay or bad. You feel me? But whatever the case may be, 45 threes, right? Question to you, Knickerbocker. Is this system built on a personnel that we actually have?
No.
Or is it built on just theory?
Clearly, no, it's not. That system is built for a mainly spot-up shooting, pick-and-pop kind of team, which the team is not. This team is, for the last, and maybe, you can credit that to Coach Tommy T on that one, but they're, much more slower, methodical, break down a defense, opportune score. They can hit the three. However, it's not what makes them or breaks them. When you become that, it's almost the comparison to how baseball, and you and I both know this very well, with the Yankees, when it's home run or bust. And you can't do that every time. That's not how the game is played.
Right.
The game, there are nuances that that make a single important. And in this case, a free throw, where a double or a sacrifice would be essential in that given moment. Mm-hmm. In that case, post up, kick out, a drive to the lane, an easy layup. There are things about this game that are, and nuances that are very important. And by trying to, change the identity of this team to a 3-point up and down team, when you don't have the personnel for that, I'm sorry, with all due respect, I know we speculated about this all off season, but the reality is that Jalen Brunson works well in the half court. He doesn't. Can he get up and down? Sure. He's showing you flashes of that. But you can't do that 60-70% of all your possessions. That's just not gonna work. It's not who he is. Mikal Bridges, as good as he is not that kind of guy. He also needs to be able to, sit up in the half court. Josh Hart, obviously, because and I know we're second to the Villanova guys, but they're more effective when they're operating under the half court, not when they're trying to beat a guy down to the corner, to that corner three spot, and then just sit there. And then if you just put those three guys along with Karl-Anthony Towns, if it wasn't made evident in his first go around with Tibbs in Minnesota, and then in last year, where everything that you complained about Karl-Anthony Towns is now horribly and exponentially magnified, because now he's really just sitting at the 3-point line.
So, to your point about, going for home runs when singles and sacrifices may be necessary, there's a point when we got the game down to 2. We took like 3 3-pointers in a row when we really didn't need those shots. You feel me? Like, it was still more than enough time on the clock. If we tied the game, that would have worked out. But a home run, we was looking for the home run. And that's when the rope started to slip. Because instead of doing what we needed at the time, everybody felt like I'm going to be the guy. I'm going to be the guy that everybody high fives in the locker room because we took the lead on my 3-point shot instead of getting to the cup.
They're not. No. They're not. They're not.
It's a lot of frustration. You feel me? It's a lot of frustration they playing with. There's a lot of frustration because I also think they know, like, the way we playing don't really fit, except for Mikal. The way we playing fits Mikal game. You feel me? Like, Mikal is the one person who kind of gets it. Like, I'm going to shoot threes, but also I'm going to get to my midi game. I'm going to cut. I'm going to get easy, cheap buckets. Mikal is the one person that I'm watching that is mixing up his offense, outside of JB, of course, that is mixing up his offense with getting to the cup mid-range and 3-point shots. This is why he's having such great success. I think he's been over 20 in 4 to 5 games that we've played so far.
I think all of them.
Yeah, that even better. You know what I mean? And I contribute that largely to the fact that he's been mixing up his game. Unlike most of the team where it's either 3-pointer or bust. You feel me? And we're not going to win that way. Like, we're not going to go far that way. I think I said it last show. I don't get why we are adopting the philosophy of a team that we bumped from the playoffs last year.
Honestly, I don't even have an answer to that question because that team's not even going to be a factor. Furthermore, Mikal Bridges, the fact that the biggest reason why he's benefiting so much from this offense is because he gets to actually play his natural position. He gets to play like an actual two guard, as opposed to when he played under Tibbs, he had to play 2 and 3. And occasionally, he would have to double up on a 4 or 5 just because, Mitch or Cat would be in foul trouble or Mitch wasn't there. And OG needed a spell, so he would have to play a lot of 3 and 4 and guard the big dudes. I don't understand that philosophy, though, as to why would you still use him and not have him guard Josh Giddey tonight from Jump Street, knowing full well that Giddey was going to have Brunson's number. Brunson is not a bad defender. He's just, limited because of his size. And not to mention, he's probably still dealing with that groin injury. So I mean, come on. Brunson's a little flat-footed when he's on his heels. So that's another thing that Mike Brown should have been well aware of. And, I mean, he's had plenty of time. I mean, when did he get hired? Back in the middle of July? So he's had 4 months to know who his captain is, who his star point guard is, what his limitations are. He sees the practice. He's running them hard because they're actually practicing as opposed to what Thibodeau did. And he should have an idea as to what Jalen's limitations are. And hell, he has his dad sitting right next to him, so he should at least know that part as well. So come on now.
Word. So, the next question is this, right? I know the answer, but I'm gonna make you answer the question anyway. I know the answer to the question, but I'm gonna make you answer the question anyway. Does Mike Brown have a backup plan when the 3-point shots are not falling?
No. We're going to run them down. We're going to get them boys. And no, why did I sound like that? His philosophy is to turn up the tempo. Get there quicker. And this is where I hated Knicks Twitter for this, because they would say that Thibodeau didn't have adjustments, but his philosophy was stop that motherfucker. Get in front of him. And so far, the attention to detail on the defense is seriously lacking. Now, given we all know that during the season, Tommy T had a hard time defending the 3. We know that. We're not asking for the opposing team to go over 70 or something like that. We're not expecting that. But can we at least stop seeing so many wide open threes? And can we please, for the love of all things holy, stop turning the damn ball over so damn much and conceding so many points off of that?
So this is something that I was concerned about in the beginning of the season, right? It wasn't so much the open threes, but tonight was definitely disgusting with the open threes. It was disgusting. I think guys was confused on who to get back to. Rotations were largely off tonight, when we was in scramble mode. But that tends to happen when, the point of attack, which is JB, is getting blown past or muscled in by Josh Giddey, or they getting a switch with Vucevic on Jalen Brunson, and you got to collapse the defense. These things are going to happen, right? You're going to get into scramble mode, but guys weren't coordinating on their rotations getting back. A lot of open threes. But also something else that's been happening these last few games is the amount of, transition baskets we've been giving up. And I said this will be a problem with pace and space, right? The problem with pace and space is you have guys running around, cutting, slashing, rotating. It creates confusion when one of those 1,000,000 3-pointers you put up, misses. Then it creates confusion on who's supposed to get back, in a half-court set. Like, I won't say stagnant. That's a nasty word. But offenses that have more static floor balance are better able to defend transition baskets, right? Because the guards are usually further back, ready to defend the passing lanes or the outlet passes or get back and try to protect the rim or whatever the case may be. But when you have pace and space, is a lot of chaos that's going on. There's a lot of motion that's happening. And everybody's trying to find an open spot on the floor. Nobody's really paying attention to getting back. I won't say paying attention to getting back. It's just a lot of confusion with that. And we being scored on and having a lot of bad matchups getting back in transition. That's not good, right?
They're thinking too much. That's really much what it is. They're thinking too much about the philosophy and the game plan, and they're just not playing basketball.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. You can coach and you can plan for the first three and a half periods. But what has been said throughout the entire offseason and throughout the preseason, last 5 minutes is JB time. But what happens when JB doesn't have it?
That's facts. That's when Cat's supposed to step up.
Has to.
Yeah, that's when Cat's supposed to step up. But another thing is too about, what happens with the transition baskets and the imbalance on defense and getting back in transition and having these nasty matchups off of transition, trying to get back on defense. Taking that many 3-pointers lead to a lot of long rebounds. And we all know long rebounds are great for getting into the open floor. It causes havoc on your transition defense. And I forgot to mention this earlier. Part of the comeback was we started getting to the cup, getting to the foul line, doing things that normal teams do.
Well, dear folks, how about diversify your offense?
And it actually started working. Now we're getting more balanced defense. We stopped them in transition. We slowed down their offense for most of that second half, or at least a large part of that third quarter. When we went back to try to hit the home runs, that's when they started to pull away again. Nasty work, right? I think I got one more question for this Mike Brown topic. Is this coaching to win or coaching to prove a point?
It's kind of hard to say that he's trying to, because you would think that he's coaching to win.
You would hope.
But then again, we are Knicks fans, and we did survive. We're like Holocaust survivors in this case, where we survived Phil Jackson. Therefore, with that being said, I would not be too surprised if time goes on and more of this continues, that narrative does change. Because if it doesn't start to click and soon, especially, because you can chalk this up to being a bad road trip, okay? Okay, you went 0-3 in a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
But now you're going home on Sunday. You're playing the Chicago Bulls again. And if that continues to occur, and you're still getting the same amount of effort and the same results from doing your same philosophy, the New York Knicks management and or said owner, which we will not mention his name, but we know who we're talking about, may want to do something about it.
So, how I feel about that is James Dolan has, to his credit, the last, I want to say even during the Phil Jackson years, has stayed out of it. Like, for the most part, to my knowledge. Who knows what happens behind the scenes, but none of that stuff has made the papers that James Dolan has made this move. Like, when the move for Carmelo Anthony was made, everybody knew that that was a James Dolan move to push forward that trade. But from my knowledge over the last few years, James Dolan has had a pretty hands-off approach to the day-to-days when it comes to the team. And I hope it stays that way. But to your point, with the lofty expectations of this season, is there a possibility that he might get a tad bit antsy and be like, he's not what we thought he was as a head coach. We got to make something happen.
Well, it does make me reminisce about a time not too long ago, actually about 30 years. But we've been Knicks fans long to remember this. After the 1995 season, when Pat Riley infamously resigned via fax and joined the Miami Heat, became their head coach and executive vice president, the Knicks had to figure out who the next head coach was, and they hired longtime veteran Don Nelson. And Don Nelson, in his first year, actually in his first, I think it was like 3 or 4 months, was fired. Mm-hmm. And most Knicks fans, of course, age range, remember that was a great thing, because what followed was we got Jeff Van Gundy promoted from interim assistant head coach to head coach. Mm-hmm. And that started that great run of those Knicks teams. I don't foresee that happening just yet because of Leon and his ability to remain patient and giving people a chance. But I know James Dolan, by reputation, and he knows that this team is where it is, what the expectation is. I'm sure he reads, I'm sure he still reads the newspaper. I'm sure he still listens to us and listens to social media. And they're all going to be saying the same exact thing. The Knicks should be smoking these teams.
Facts.
The Knicks should be, if not one, the most dominant team in the Eastern Conference right now.
Facts.
They should be that scary that Vegas is already, putting up and changing our odds to win the title.
Yeah.
And right now, that doesn't even look like a remote chance. They're probably looking to change it to lower it.
Yeah, that's a fact. And I wouldn't even blame them with what we've seen, right? This is kind of like a different topic, but along the same topic. It's about Josh Hart and his fit on this team. I hate to even ask this question. Y'all know I love me some Josh Hart.
That's my
Heart of the city.
Be careful.
He said, "Be careful." I gotta ask the question.
Be careful, because it's not just me. There's going to be plenty of people in the comments, and there's going to be plenty of people later on. If you're liking the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. Continue to sharing is caring. And at any point that you listen to this, make a comment. We will look into it, and we will address it in the next show. But
yeah,
tread lightly. Tread lightly.
It's a nasty question. I ain't gonna lie, but I gotta ask because it's relevant. We know that we playing pace and space. We know that's what Mike Brown is doing.
Right.
And it doesn't look like he's going to defer from that anytime soon. So the question is this: can we afford to keep Josh Hart in a rotation if his spacing kills the offense? He refuses to shoot. And that might be because of his finger, it might be because of his back, but he refuses to shoot. And that hurts spacing when you have a player that just won't shoot the basketball.
I'm going to put this down because that's a good question. Honestly, it's hard to do, to put a value on that because what he doesn't do in terms of scoring, he does do a lot in terms of defense and rebounding and keeping plays alive. So it does become a huge issue when you have to evaluate a player's value on one end and then you evaluate his value in another. And the fact that he isn't really a spot-up shooter.
Yeah.
But then again, you can take plenty of twos. I mean, he can still hit a two. He can still drive the lane. He can still collapse. He doesn't have to be a three-point shooter. I don't know if that's something that Mike Brown is asking him to continue to be. I don't know if that's something that him and JB talk on, after they talk on roommates. I'm not exactly sure what the philosophy is, but if you have a bad shooting hand, my brother, then stop shooting from long range. Get closer to the basket.
And the crazy part about Josh Hart's game is that he's a relatively decent mid-range shooter. Like he's okay from there. Like, yeah. But we watch him in the game because the philosophy is get 2 feet in the paint, spray the ball out, and he's doing just that, right? And trying to relocate to the open space, which is not going to work with whatever he got going on physically, right? We need him to be more downhill. They talked about it. He was one of the best finishers in transition last year, getting to the rim, right? Mm-hmm. And that stuff translates to the half court too. If you could get downhill against your man one-on-one, take the layup, dog. Take the layup. Make teams have to guard you. Make them want to collapse. Because right now, you're driving to the rim and they're like, he's not about to shoot. Let me get back because he's not about to shoot the basketball. He's not going to lay it up. He's not going to shoot a mid-range. So really, you're just out there spending – tonight he had 15 minutes on the court. 15 minutes, that's nasty. He ain't do nothing. Cardio game for Josh Hart. 15 minutes, 0 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist.
What's crazy that the way Josh Hart is offensively, it becomes so much easier, number one, to guard him specifically, but to guard the Knicks in the half court. It's just that easy because you're playing 4-on-5. You can leave Josh Hart alone because usually when you're playing defense, you don't want to have more than about 2 feet of space between the two of you. Mm-hmm. But with Josh Hart, you can give him up to 6 because he's not, even if he takes the shot, he's not making it. It's going to fall short because of his hand. It's going to fall short because he doesn't have the flexibility in his back or he doesn't have his legs under him. And therefore, it's easy for you to collapse then on Brunson or Bridges or Cat. And they really love to collapse on Cat because, I mean, look at the way his threes are just getting defended that much easier because he's getting double-teamed and drawn those looks. Mm-hmm. And even though, JB is, the scoring dynamo that he is, you can't score every single possession. It's not sustainable. So if Josh Hart would diversify his offense in any way by, like you said, driving to the lane. I mean, last year they were talking about he was the second best, downhill guy in the league behind only LeBron James.
That's what I was saying. I just said that a few minutes ago. What?
And the thing is that if you watch the last 5 games, I want somebody to put it in the comments. Tell me how many times as Josh Hart drove into the lane. I'll wait.
Attempted a layup. There's a lot of drives, but no layup attempts. No layup attempts. But so the next question to that is this is gonna be my last question about Josh Hart. And this is off topic too. I just want, if anybody was box score watching and the minutes police, from last season, just want to let you know, aside from the amount of people who got on the court, and that's largely because Mitchell Robinson didn't play a lot of minutes, the minutes distribution kind of looked a lot like last year's. That's all I'm going to say. It tonight kind of looked like a lot like last year's.
OG Anunoby, 36. Karl-Anthony Towns, 32. Mitchell Robinson, 20. Mikal Bridges, 38. Jalen Brunson, 35. Yabusele, 3. Clarkson, 13. Hart, 15. Shannon, 15. Miles McBride, 29. Tyler Kolek, 4.
All I'm saying, the only difference is the amount of bodies that got off the bench. But the amount of time that the starters played,
about the same.
Kind of sound familiar. But I digress from my point.
Does anybody have Tommy T's number on speed dial? Boy, we need you back.
Listen, because it's starting to look like Mike Brown was like, maybe the old guy was on to something. But hold on. The question is this: last question about Josh Hart. How does Mike Brown balance Hart's energy with the team need for shooting in his system? It's a difficult question, I know.
It is, because it's not like he's going to pick up, shooting percentages overnight. And if he is really hurt, on that hand or in that back, the only thing that you can do is, I'm going to use Michael Jordan's new favorite word, load management. And you probably have to sit him a couple of games just so that he can heal. And maybe, just maybe, this is where a Landry Shamet gets more burn.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, just maybe, you might see a Mohamed Diawara or a Pack-Up Dadier. Maybe, just maybe, you'll start seeing those guys in there. Maybe an Ariel Hukpurdy come off the bench a little bit more.
Yeah.
The reality is that even though a lot of those guys are not shooters, except for Shamet. Shamet is a shooter. You already have Deuce coming off the bench. He's the first one off the bench anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe you just limit and manage Josh Hart a little bit just so that he can heal, and then unleash him in a couple of weeks where he's feeling better, he's feeling loose, and he's ready to play. Because at this point, even when in his worst shooting times, he was still good for about 1 or 2 threes.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But these days, not a damn thing.
Yeah, I think it's a super delicate balance, because Josh Hart does bring something to the court. Well, not tonight, but normally he brings something to the court, even though he's not shooting the ball particularly great. But his shooting is going to be a problem. Obviously, because I keep on saying obviously, because obviously this is the system that we're running, right? So
that's your last, obviously, by the way.
And it's not going to be. I promise you, it's not. We're gonna have a few more, especially with the next topic coming up. But you know, oh damn, I did go my train of thought. But yeah, he needs. This is the offense we're running, right? Where shooting is at a premium. It's supposed to open up the floor for the cat drives and the JB drives, and him not being able to produce offensively, that handicaps that part of the game a lot, right? Like that's where you get the guys cheating off of Josh Hart heavy. They're rotating from Josh Hart to the defend Cat and JB on drives, and being on the court and being a non-factor offensively, it only worked one time in my knowledge, and that's Dennis Rodman. That's Dennis Rodman.
But Dennis did so many other things, and occasionally he did have a putback. He did have a return layup, or like in the latter stages of when he was in Chicago, he hit that that wild three every now and then.
Yeah,
so
every now and then, but that's to my point, right? Like you have to be a threat at some way. You got to find a way to be a threat offensively to help your team. I mean, getting offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds, that's great. You're not even attacking the basket in transition the way you were. Like, it was times that I've seen him on the court, like, get the ball after a rebound and start to run, and I'm like, oh, snap. This is going to be the quintessential Josh Hart coast-to-coast layup. And he kicks the ball out, and I'm like, wait, what are we doing? What are we doing? Now the defense is back set up when you could have possibly got fouled or got a layup. So the onus is on Josh Hart just as much as it's on Mike Brown. Like, because let's be perfectly honest, right? If we found out that Josh Hart was healthy and Mike Brown didn't play him and we lost the game, we'd be sitting here like, what the fuck is this guy doing? You got the Heart of City on the bench, not playing him, and he's able to play. So the onus is on Josh Hart just as much as it is on Mike Brown to like either rest him or not play him when he's not playing well. Josh Hart has to do the things that he can do. We know you're not a shooter. We all knew that. But attack the basket. Get in transition. Make yourself a positive on offense. But I know one thing for certain. I know you only played 15 minutes, and this is probably why you only played 15 minutes. 1 point, 1 rebound, 1 assist, that's nasty. That's nasty. That's nasty. And you wasn't really that good defensively tonight neither. Nasty, right? But moving along, you know what I mean? I think this is probably going to be the last topic for tonight, unless Knickerbocker Ave have anything else you want to address. But we're going to talk about Cat and his struggles. Is it an injury or is it exposure? So the question is this, right? Are we still going to blame the quad for Cat, or he's just being exposed on both ends of the court?
I'm going to just go and preface this. Although I did not like the fact that he got traded in that Julius Randle trade, I welcomed him, obviously, because, he's a native kid. He's from Jersey, even though he's an Eagles fan, whatever. And obviously, my heritage, me being Dominican myself, that draws something there. So, I was happy as hell to have him here. And he was somebody that I wanted when he was getting drafted. Obviously, he was the number 1 pick, and we ended up with Porzingis that year, but it is what it is. But honestly, I'm looking at Karl-Anthony Towns, and right now, it could be the quad. But that doesn't explain the fouls, doesn't explain the body language. It doesn't explain the lack of effort. It doesn't explain the inability to take over a game. He can take over a good 6 or 7 minutes of a period, but he's not doing what Karl-Anthony Towns was doing in Minnesota. He's definitely not doing what Karl-Anthony Towns was doing in New York last year.
Yeah, facts.
So if you want to say it's a quad injury, okay, maybe it's time for we do some load management on him too. But that doesn't explain all the other actions and performances and the output that we know Karl-Anthony Towns is capable of being and doing.
Yeah.
And the fact that he opened the season stating that he didn't have a single freaking clue as to what his role is on this team. Well, number one, it starts to show. But more importantly, doesn't seem like you give a flying fuck either, dude. To be honest with you. Doesn't look like you seem to be that interested in actually finding out.
I think it's a multitude of things here, right? Like I don't think it's just one thing when it comes to Cat. Like I don't think it's just the quad or him being exposed. I think it's a gumbo of shit.
Un ensopado de mierda.
But it is evolving some of those things. It is the quad. It is him being exposed on both ends of the court because, even to take it back to the game against Milwaukee, him getting locked up by fucking Kyle Kuzma is disgusting. But I think that goes to show two things. That's him being exposed, his lack of physical strength to take advantage of that matchup. Like you're about like 5 inches taller than this guy. Like,
yeah,
you probably got him by like 30 pounds. Like, and you mean to tell me you refuse to go to the post? Give me the rock. What this guy about to do with me? Give me the rock. But that was never a thing that whole entire game. And even when he does try to post up, he's getting pushed out of the paint by guys that's smaller than him. I think this offseason was an opportunity for him to put on some muscle. You know what I mean? And he looks pretty much the same as he did last season.
He's about 30 pounds heavier, supposedly, or like 15 to 20 pounds heavier, and that's all that arroz gandules that he's been eating.
Yeah, I don't see none of that. You know what I mean? There's none of that here. It might be there, but yeah, that is a thing, right? I also think that the system might be too fast for him, like, and that could be a product of his conditioning. But a lot of the times he runs up the court a few times, and you can see it. He looks winded. Like he had that early stretch in the game where he went crazy a little bit. And then I was looking at him. They had to take him out the game not too much longer after.
Right.
Like, they had to get subbed out. And again, that is also a refusal to mix up his game. You don't have to be the strongest guy in the world to be effective in a post. Dirk Nowitzki wasn't backing everybody down. Like, but he was nice in the post.
Remember when he's supposed to Shaq? He used to post up against Shaq, and Shaq was like still giving it to him, and he still delivered.
Gave him work. Fade away over both shoulders. Counters. Like, you're a 7-footer. How don't you have this array? Well, I guess he plays in this era of basketball. Post play is pretty much non-existent, but still, you should be able to take advantage of matchups like the one against Kyle Kuzma. There's been a few times I saw him matched up against, like, smaller guys matched up against him, and I watched him it was an inbounds play. I think it was Dawawu, however you pronounce that kid name, right?
Oh.
Yeah. It was inbounds play. This kid was pushing him out the paint. Couldn't get the ball. I'm like, what am I watching here, right? And it was something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember right now, and I'm not going to rack my brain trying to remember it. But I think it's equal parts. Oh, I was about the quad. It was about the quad. If it is the quad, hey, coach, I ain't got it. I'm hurting the team. I ain't got it. let me rest this. You know what I mean? For a few games. Because it's one thing to go out there and gut it out and be productive and help the team. He had a good game tonight. Let me not take away from that. Cat had a pretty good game tonight. 20 and 10. I'm not mad at that.
It was uninspiring.
Very uninspired. Very, very 22 and 10. Very uninspired. And it wasn't about the quad. It was about him not knowing what to do in the offense. Right? This is a problem when you have an offense that have no defined roles, right? He pretty much says everybody is equal parts in the offense, which is not true. I don't care how true Mike Brown said this in the preseason. Like, everybody is pretty much equal parts in the offense. We still gonna have JB to be our closer, but that's not true. That's not true. You don't have a Karl-Anthony Towns and you don't have a JB and say everybody is equal to them in the offense for the first 3 quarters of the game. That's not true. You have superstars for just that reason, for them to be superstars, right? So when you're out there and there's a lot of motion and you want him to trigger the offense most of the time from the high post, Cat he can pass, but he's not a passer. Like,
Yeah.
and this goes back to a few seasons ago when I was using this mantra. Just because you could do something some of the time doesn't mean you're supposed to be doing it all of the time. And I was using that for Julius Randle. Like, just because Jules could have brought up the ball some of the time, that don't mean he's supposed to be doing it all the time. And I feel the same way with Cat. Just because Cat can pass, that doesn't mean he's supposed to be the guy that's triggering a lot of the offense. Because that takes him away from what he does well, which is score the basketball. Because now he's looking to play make when his brain is wired, go get a bucket. So that could be where the confusion is coming from. I don't know. I'm just going to leave that one there. But, Knickerbocker, if you got anything else to add or any other topics you want to talk about, if not, we could.
Well, I want to leave it open to the chat here, and I'm just going to leave it up to the fans of Knicks and Ish. When is it the appropriate time to panic? The Knicks are sitting at 2-3,
Nasty.
0-1 in the NBA Cup, which more than likely means that they're not going to compete in that one because they only play like in 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see, like, at what point do you start to think about it? Say, because I don't want to say the words, but in the last 3 games, this team ain't shit. The last 3 games that you should have gone into that gym and smoked the Miami Heat, the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Chicago Bulls. You should have smoked all 3 of them and should be sitting at 5-0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I'm sorry. I know that people don't want to keep on bringing up that trade talk that was happening in the offseason. But the way that Karl-Anthony Towns and the rest of this Knicks team is playing, they don't force that shit to happen. And the one thing that most of you have all said to me over and over again, Mr. Nick says it a bunch of times, they don't want to see this team get gutted. Let this shit continue, and Dolan's going to make it happen.
Yeah, this is supposed to be our year, right? This is supposed to be our year. We put all our chips on the table to make this our year. When is the appropriate time to panic? I don't think there's an actual number on wins and losses or a month, but you could just use your eyes, right? Because whatever's happening right now, if it continues to progress, because this kind of like confused and poor body language, that can snowball. Like if that starts to snowball and we're going out and giving these bad efforts to come out the open games or the closed games and it's becoming a consistent effort, then you'd be like, oh, yeah, this ain't it. And yo, and the worst part about it, you saw in the group chat, we were setting up for a good old tea time rant today. I couldn't even do it because Son might be right. He might be right. So I couldn't even get my rant on and be like, oh, you's a hater. After this game, I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm just going to shut my ass up because they not giving me anything to defend. We can't defend the last three efforts. It's undefendable. But if this kind of effort, this kind of body language, this kind of attitude continues, then we might have to press the panic button. I don't think trade might be the answer, but I could see it. I could see it happening. You know what I mean? But I don't think that's the answer. I think a coaching change might be the answer because this system, I don't like it. I don't like it. When they come up the court, it looks like they run the same exact thing every single time. Every single time. It looked like the same exact thing. You know what I mean? Well, Knickerbocker Ave, you can start with your final thoughts and I'll close it out.
The New York Knicks at this current juncture, I'm going to say it again. They're playing like they ain't shit. And right now, they're making Draymond Green look like a fucking prophetic genius. And it's sad to hear that. It's sad for me to say it. And I know there's going to be some haters out there that are going to be saying, y'all panicking over 5 games. My boy Live will tell me right now, Av, we don't really freaking evaluate this team until after 20 games. But no one here can say that they knew that the Knicks were going to start off the season 2-3, considering the quality of opponent. It's unacceptable that a team with championship aspirations put up 43s every single night and lose by 10 in three consecutive contests. It's just not sustainable. And if you think that eventually they're going to just turn it around and those shots are going to start going in, guess again. Because defenses and opposing teams, they're picking up on this. They're watching the film. They're reading and seeing the same thing that me and Tea Time and Mrs. Knicks and every single one of you are watching. The Knicks are fucking predictable on offense. And because of that, the result continues to be the same. Knicks fall deep into the hole. They fight back in the third or early in the fourth, only to fall short. Mike Brown needs to figure this shit out quickly. The season is 5 games in, but I don't think he's going to make it to game 82 at this rate.
I would have to agree. My final thought is this, right? We have to. I think, with pace of spaces, you can't have it all, right? You either going to be amazing. You're going to be amazing offensive team and just be like, all right, we're just going to outscore everybody every night. But you can't be a great defensive team and be a mid offensive team, especially when you're trying to win a championship. Especially when you're trying to shoot 43s a night. We have to have a gut check, a reality check that this team is not built for that. It sounds nice. It sounds nice. We have a whole bunch of guys who are okay 3-point shooters. But when you look at their shooting numbers and you look out throughout their careers, they were never volume 3-point shooters. OG was never a volume 3-point shooter. Even when you talk about he was shooting 39%. He was taking like three threes a game or less. Same thing with McCall. Same thing with JB. Now you're trying to transform a team from guys who are more slashers and scorers into 3-point shooters. And it's not working. You know what they say insanity is? Trying the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I don't want to be the guy trying to defend an insane team. I'm going to end off by saying this, and then I'm going to close out. Thank God I ain't got to go to work for the next 2 days. Jeez. Going to work 2 and 3? All the shit I was talking this off season? Knickerbocker, they will kill me on the walk-in because I'm one of them people who wear Nick. The season start every day. I got something Nick on going to work. As soon as I walk in the door, oh, we was waiting for you. And I'm glad I'm off for the next 2 days. But boom,
I'm off because we got election day coming up on Tuesday, so I'm off 3 of the next 4 days, so I'm good.
I got to go to work Tuesday. I got to work election day, and I work Monday. But hopefully we get the win on Sunday so they won't bother me on Monday, right? So, boom, shout out to everybody that pulled up tonight. If you didn't do so already, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Sharing is caring. Hit that notification bell, set it to all. You know what I mean? Make sure you visit the Shopify. You can do that directly from the YouTube page, or you could go to the link that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And hopefully when we pull up, we can celebrate a win.
We're due for one, man, because it's been a rough week.
Yeah, 3 losses in a row. I would have never thought. I would have never thought. I would have bet people all the money in my bank account that we wasn't going to lose 3 in a row.
Not to the 3 we played. Nah, I would have put. I would have got a good 50 burger right there. I'm like, yo, too good.
Word. I actually did bet tonight that we wouldn't, like on one of the betting sites. I bet it that like, oh, there's no way we losing tonight. There's no way.
Where's the parlay load at, man? Because this is the time when we really needed him to, like, you know, boost our spirits up or some shit, man. Come on.
Yeah, listen, I believe even the parlay lord probably did bad with this Knicks loss. But yo, speaking of which.
Fras, you gotta come back so you can do this shit for me, man. This is unbecoming of me. Happy Halloween, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it.
Mic check 1, 2. Tell these rappers I'm outside, yeah, them start acting up. Turning hoes to housewives and cleaning the ratchet up. Do it all from boom bap to melody rap. If they gon' put you in the box, then you might as well pack it up. Fras having bars, no cap, I'm Attica, you a precinct. How y'all competing when y'all just decent? Your rhyme efficiency's like logic simplicity. Don't tell me how much that you black, cause I don't see it. That's it.